Hi lovely and darling viewers, it's Jen here at Check Her Joy. This time I'm reviewing my favorite Half Night Stand by Christina Lauren. I listened to the audiobook for this, which was narrated by Shania Theodo and Deacon Lee. Those names are down in the description below, and I'm sorry if I mispronounced them. So this is a chick lit story set in our modern age of online dating. It follows a group of friends, particularly Millie and Reid, who are two narrators. And basically they are this group of college professors that hang out together. And this friend group is comprised of 4 guys, and then Millie is the only girl. So they do everything together. Like, they have gotten to the point where they have bi-weekly lunches together where all 5 of them just go hang out. They spend a lot of time at the coffee shop. They just stop in each other's offices. They aren't all in the same department, so like they're spread out, but they're all roughly within the same age range of like being in their early 30s, maybe late 20s. So they're kind of established in their job. In fact, we start the story off with Reid's tenure party. So there's like a little bit of an academic feel to this, being in the college campus and all of them being professors. But we are mostly following these characters as they venture into online dating together as a group. So there is this speaker coming to one of their college events, and they're like, we should get dates. We never have dates to these things. We always just go as a group, and this time maybe we should do something different, and we should each make a pact to find somebody to take with us. And they decide to venture into online dating together. They all join this one site and create profiles and just try to find somebody. So their profiles, like all of them, their first profiles look awful. And Millie looks at each of the guys' profiles and say, you're never going to find anybody, let me help. And she rewrites everybody else's. And she writes like amazing profile descriptions for them, like about who they are and what they're really into, and they're brilliant. But the one she writes for herself is kind of superficial and not great, but she doesn't let any of the guys help her. So when she does post it, all she's getting are these guys who just want to hook up and are really shallow and clearly just want sex. Like, she's getting dick pics, and she's not loving it. So she decides to create a second profile with a different name, using her middle name. With a more artistic photo where you can't see her face, and then posts that one without telling the guys. And she ends up getting paired with Reid. And she knows it's Reid, but Reid doesn't know it's her. And instead of just being like, oh my gosh, this is so funny, she decides to like see how long it's going to take him to figure out that it's her. And also they scored really high in compatibility. Like, they have a 98% compatibility, which is like ridiculously high. And so we hear who the other guys are dating, but mostly we're focusing on Reid and Millie and how they got hooked up with each other. So they do start talking to each other through this app, and the entire time Reid has no idea that he's talking to Millie. And Millie is trying to work on sharing more because she's the kind of person that doesn't share her emotions. So she decides that it's a little bit safer to tell Reid everything through this app. Like, she knows him, she knows she can trust him, but it's still a little bit easier when he doesn't actually know it's her. There is also their in real life relationship that is happening, and the night of the tenure party, Millie gets drunk and notices how incredibly attractive Reid is and decides to make a move. And he's like, I'm not going to turn down sex with my best friend. So the two of them sleep together for one night, and he leaves before the morning, hence making it a half-night stand. And that should be the end of it. It should just be like a friends with benefit thing, except it does start putting into their minds that maybe the other person could actually, this could work, maybe, possibly. So the same time that Reid thinks he is talking to this woman named Catherine online, he is also contemplating getting into a relationship with Millie, like in person, like the two of them just as best friends, and doesn't know that the two of these women are exactly the same. And then Millie is trying to juggle the fact that she's talking to Reid both online and in person, and he doesn't know that it's the same person. He doesn't know that like the two of them are the same, and it's really interesting and really complicated, and it definitely has some really funny moments to it. It's particularly interesting with the Catherine versus Millie perspective because they're like these two opposite ends of what Reid really wants in a woman. There is Catherine, who is super easy to talk to and is good at sharing her emotions, and then there's Millie, who is really attractive and like the best friend that you can just hang out with, and also it's pretty good sex. So he's dealing with, I like these two different women. And then he's also talking to another woman online and starting to like contemplate maybe I should just go with this other woman who isn't quite as great as either of these in these two perspectives, but like has a little bit of both maybe. So definitely my favorite parts of this were Millie and Reid. We do get to see their thought processes since it's in first person perspective from the two of them, and how they feel about each other and their dilemmas at each point. One thing I would have liked to have developed more was the other friends. They're definitely just background characters, and it took me a while to distinguish each of the three of them apart, and even to remember that there are three of them with their three different names. They are kind of stand-ins, so it took a while for each of them to fully develop in my head, like the three background characters, and pretty much everybody else in the story was just like a blur. Like, I know Millie's family and Reid's family are mentioned, but they also don't really feel that developed. I did love this story though. Like, I love that we're best friends and now we're gonna consider dating. Like, it's a high stakes thing when you have a great friendship that works, and whether or not you consider, should we risk it by dating? Like, this could ruin everything, especially when they are so close with their families, that it's not, and their friend groups share. So like, there's so much overlap. They also work together. Like, if the two of them don't work out, like, it could just ruin everything about their lives. So, and that's always an interesting dynamic, which I am really into. There is this like catfishing aspect to it where Millie is not telling Reid the entire truth by being Catherine and letting it go on for so long. And, you know, she's lying to him. And so there is that aspect to the story also, which is highly entertaining, but also from Reid's perspective, not really at all. So as a reader, I found the catfishing thing like highly entertaining, but if it were actually happening to me, if I were actually in Reid's place, I would, you know, not be thrilled with that. So on the whole, I ended up giving this book 4 stars. It was a really quick, really fun read. I super enjoyed it. I love the story. I love getting into the relationship, but the whole catfishing thing was a bit hard, and the fact that the secondary characters aren't really fully developed or like distinguishable from each other all the time, also brought that down a star. So let me know in the comments below if you have read my favorite Half Night Stand or any of Christina Lauren's other books. Do you have any other chick lit recommendations? Like, it's summer. I definitely want to dig into chick lit right now and just like chill outside. That's where my brain is. So if you have any recommendations for those kind of books, also let me know. And yeah, peace out. I love you guys and keep reading. Bye.